really important to stay switched on, and you always put the best looking and the funniest bloke on last, which is why I've put Grant Mullen on. He's come up from Tasmania yesterday afternoon. So if I'm flying anybody up from Tassie to come and speak to you guys, it means that I obviously think very highly of him. Did a lot of research on Grant before I made the initial call to get him up to come and speak in front of you guys. He's a pretty smart character, and I thought, well, this guy's got a lot of love to give, and he's got a lot of knowledge to give as well. He's got a lot of history, so that's why I thought I wanted to get him up here. Grant Mullen is an author, speaker, coach, and trainer who is busy running his national consultancy from Hobart. Grant has a pedigree in sales and marketing that started long before he was employed for the skills in persuasion and communication. A master NLP practitioner, and has most recently been working with some of Australia's top businesses, including Club Links, Step Into Life Fitness, and the Australian Institute of Conveyancing. Grant's focus is on 3 areas of business, which is systemization, scalability, and sales. So not too dissimilar to what we focus on. More importantly, though, Grant is a husband, father, and he's passionate about his other babies, his motorbikes. Wake up, get ready to take a bunch of notes, and buckle up tight, and welcome Grant Mullen.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, guys. Thank you. You can save your applause and chuck money. Hey, what a bunch of content. So you guys have learned a bunch today. I've been talking to a few people during the break, and they've been saying their brains are really full. Who else has got a really full brain at the moment? So just do that. Empty it out. I love engaging with people when I'm presenting. I don't like being one of those guys that just comes up and vomits a whole heap of information at you and doesn't expect to hear responses back. So I listen out for things like yes. So everyone say yes. Great, cool. So get practiced on saying that. If I ask a question, 9 times out of 10 it's not rhetorical. So shout answers at me. Is that okay? Good. So we practiced the first yes and you used it the second time. So you guys are switched on. That's really, really good. And the last thing is, if you got questions, for goodness sake, ask it, because if you've got it, I bet you bottom dollar someone else in the room is asking the same question as well. So is that okay? Great. 3 yeses. Awesome. So it's called a yes frame. So when we're in sales and marketing, we do what's called a yes frame. If you don't take notes today, by the way, as well, you're going to remember less than 1% of everything that I have to say. That's a fact. So take lots and lots of notes. If you don't have enough paper, write back on the blank pages from where you didn't take notes before, because I've been watching you all from the back of the room today. So I'm going to be talking today about freemium. I'll let you know a little bit about who I am, what I do, all that sort of stuff, but I won't bore you with the whole, because you didn't come here to get my resume, but I'll just tell you a few little things. I used to be a ladies' hairdresser, and that's where I learned a whole bunch about how to talk to people. So somebody said before, hey, I really like your hair. It was you. Thanks, that's why. It used to be heavily coloured, and now it's heavily grey, but we can't help bad luck. Moved to Tasmania. Some of you might go, why on earth would you live in Tasmania? My belief is that Tasmania should be shut down and used for storage for the rest of Australia. At least that's what I used to think before I moved down there. Well, I moved to Tassie 13 years ago on a 12-month contract. So it was kind of the longest 12 months that I ever spent there. You guys will relate to this. I used to be the sales, marketing, and distribution for L'Oreal Professional. So you guys are hairdressers, right? Hair and beauty, yep. So I used to do that. And so I moved from Melbourne. Anyone here from Melbourne today at all? No, just me, because I'm from a place called Frankston. You guys know Frankston? It's where bogans are manufactured. These are not tattoos, they're birthmarks. So I moved from Frankston to Tasmania, but I moved via Paris. So I was living in Paris for a little while. So I went straight from Paris, straight to the Paris end of Goodwood, which is a little, it's like Mount Druitt. So it's kind of like anyway, I don't know if Mount Druitt's still like it used to be, but anyway, it's like what it was. So culture shock, it was huge. And I moved to Tasmania. I'm telling you this story for a reason, because I need to let you know what happened. Moved to Tasmania, and I said this. I went, hi, I was a wanker before I got here. I'm a wanker now, and I'll be a wanker when I leave. Because my belief was that I was going to come into Tasmania with all of this worldly knowledge, and I was going to vomit all this stuff onto people and say, here's how you can change, and here's how you can get a better business, and here's what you backward people need to do, because I've got all the knowledge, and you need to just shut up and listen. Guess how that worked out? Not terribly well. So I had a baptism of fire. we had $300,000 worth of existing business when I first got there. And after 6 months, this is where you're going to think, I'm going to say, wow, there was a huge number, but it wasn't. There was $140,000 worth of business after 6 months. So I was really in trouble. And I had the managing director of L'Oreal breathing down my neck. His name's Ludovic Delazeri, and he'd ring me up and go, Grant, what is going on in Tasmania? You know, everyone is leaving. What is going on? So I was full of blame and excuse and denial. And well, it's not my fault. It's the economy, and it's everything else that's going. It's the weather, and I'd blamed everything from bad aftershave through to the shirt I was wearing, and it was just pretty devastating. Anyway, I learned some stuff along the way, and a lot of the stuff that I learned there I'm going to teach to you guys today. I'm going to show you how I turned it from that $140,000 disaster into $1.4 million in 12 months, and how we kept it there with 45% growth every year on year in a negative 6% market. Right, we did that for 6 years. Then I shut that down and I started my consultancy. My consultancy suffered the same problems because I'm a slow learner. Suffered the same problems, and I forgot to apply my own rules. After I applied my own rules, I've taken my own consultancy to we're all over the place. We're in every state and territory in Australia, and we've just broken the New Zealand market. We've got clients in the UK and the US now, which is pretty cool. All that from Hobart, where everybody says in Hobart that it can't be done. I don't know what it's like here in the Gong, but in Hobart, everyone's really negative. Do you guys come across negative people often? Yes, I'm not the only freak in the room. You don't come across any negative people. We need to talk later. I'll introduce you to some of my Facebook friends. But the problem is the change that we need to generate, it's generational change. And here's what I want to tell you, is that if there's a problem in your business, then it starts and finishes with you. And that problem is only going to be solved from one thing and one thing only. Do you know what it is? Sorry? If you change it, but it's before that. It's going to be changed by one thing and one thing only. Don't see it? Maybe attitude before that. Just before that. Recognize it just before that. Just before that. It's your thoughts. It's your thoughts. My friend Max Walker, you know the cricketer? Yeah, Max Walker. I'm hanging out with him on Sunday. And he's a great guy. And he goes, you know what, Grant? All you got to do is change what goes on up here in the neck-top computer. Righty, so whatever's going on up here in the neck-top computer, if right now your neck-top computer's too full of all the stuff that you've learned throughout the day, if it's too full, if you're thinking about what you've got to go back to in your businesses and you're thinking about what text messages you're going to have on your phone or anything like that, that means you can't be present. And if you can't be present with me right now, then do something right now to change it, because what I've got to show you right now, I'm hoping, is going to help you guys to flip your businesses and turn it around so that you don't have to work as hard as you're working right now, so that you can take all of the things that you've learned from Science Simon today and amplify that and multiply that. Because I don't want to just add value to your businesses today. I want to multiply what you've got in your business. I want to take everything that you already know, because every single one of you here is an entrepreneur and an incredible business owner. Yes or yes? Yes. Great. And you've already learned some great stuff today. Yes or yes? Great. So I want to multiply that for you today. Is that okay? Cool. 3 yeses. If anyone hasn't written down yet, get 3 yeses from people. Write that down. Create yes frames in your business. So, who's got everyone's got a smartphone, right? You know apps? Yeah? Most of the apps that you can get nowadays are pretty well free. Free to about $3. And I don't know about you, but if you're paying more than $3 for an app, you're going to look at it and go, do I really, really, really want it? But if it's free, it's a no-brainer to download, right? But then what happens when you download that free app? Tell me what happens. In-app purchases, righty? So, but what they're doing is really, really smart. So I want you to think about your business today. Think about certain portions of it. Think about certain parts of it, components of it. Start to break your business apart in your mind. Personal trainers are going to love this. This is easy to do. Anyone's got restaurants, easy to do. Shout out another business at me. Mortgage broking, easy to do. Flippin' easy to do. I want someone to throw me a curly one. Who thinks that HR consultancy? Yes, absolutely easy. Let me tell you, HR consultancy, right? So if you're going to do like a free app sort of thing for business, what's the biggest problem that people you consult to have got in their businesses? People, right? So you can do a thing. There's a little thing called psychogeometrics, which is a little personality profiling tool. Takes 5 minutes, based on disc profiling, right? You know about psychogeometrics. You can teach that in a one-page document, and that becomes a freemium. So freemium, to tell you what this is really about, you guys can probably guess by the word, is to take your premium offer and give it away for free. Who does that right now? Let's see, show of hands. 1, 2. No, a definite, not 50%, like, yeah, I give away my best stuff for free. All right, cool. So we've got some work to do. Yeah, because what I want you to be walking away with, I don't want to just show you why this is important. I don't want to just show you how people relate to it. I'm going to teach you a little bit about the psychology of why people buy today and what they're motivated by and what their strategies are. Because first and foremost, I'm a human behavioral specialist. That's what I'm most qualified in. I want to teach you a little bit about the behind the scenes and how it all works. But more than anything, I want you to create one today. So in your workbooks here, that was a nice little, in your workbooks here, you got this page here. We're going to fill that out by the end of today. But this one here, just cram it with notes. Write down absolutely anything that you think of that's of value to you that I say, because hopefully there's going to be lots of it. So, what else have we got here? Alrighty. Simon talked about the law of reciprocity before. It's one of my favorite things. So there's a book called Influence. Write that one down. It's called Influence. And it's by a guy called Dr. Robert Cialdini. I'll spell it for you. It's Cialdini. Dr. Robert Cialdini. And in his book, he talks about a whole bunch of different ways to influence and persuade. But one of them is the law of reciprocity. And what it says is that when you give something away to somebody for free, then the inherent value of that psychologically, they feel like they owe you up to 8 times that value back. Up to 8 times that value back. So think about, my voice is going squeaky today because I'm going through puberty, right? So think about in the 80s and maybe early 90s. I don't know if anyone's that old in the room. I wouldn't think you are. But in America especially, and it's Sydney Airport and a few of the bigger airports, the Hare Krishnas used to give out flowers. Yeah? You guys know what I'm talking about? Right, good. So I'm speaking the same language in a room with people that speak English. And they would go up to people and say, here's a flower. Now, what's a flower worth? Nothing, but it's got what Simon talked about before, perceived added value, PAV, which is perceived added value, right? So people would take the flower and then they'd walk around the corner, and what would they be hijacked by? A whole bunch of dudes in orange with the drums and all that sort of stuff going, hey, how about some money? Right? So I've given you something, and I'm going to, round the corner, ask you for something. So one of the things I'm going to teach you down the track, and you can write it down now if you want. My friend Taki taught me this. It's bank into people 4 times and then withdraw once. So you need to be able to give and give and give and give. And I'm going to show you how to give. And I'm going to show you what it all means today. So we're going to be talking about these 4 different levels today. I'm going to break it all down. I'll probably do a diagram. Probably ask some people for some stuff. But I'm going to take you through how to do the free stuff, how to take them to the next level, which is access. Then take them to you can take the clients to the affordable part, which is, by the way, your normal level. Like, that's just by the time they get to here, this is just like wherever you are now. Like, tell me something someone sells. Yell it out and I'll give you a free Tasmania snow globe. Go. Sorry, magazines. Right, hang on. I did promise a free Tasmania snow globe. There you go. Because this is all about giving stuff away for free. That feels good. So magazines, right? What sort of magazine?
Motoring.
Sorry? So you have a news agency, is that right?
No. We do motoring magazines.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Did you do motorbike magazines?
I used to do lots of them.
Yeah. My favourite one's Tank Motor. It's awesome. So, what's the biggest problem that people have got with choosing a magazine?
Choice. So many.
There's so many, right? So there's a super abundance of it. So you could show them really easily how they could break it down to find the best magazine that's for them. Then you could maybe like get them to pay $1 for access to a different website, which has got a whole heap of things that they've chosen. And then by the time they've chosen the right one that's for them, then they've got this. And over here, invest is where they invest back in you. That's where they start to tell other people about how awesome and amazing you are. Once you've got the community set up. Because community, don't you know, that's why we're all here today. Community is the most important. It's the most vital part of any business. Once we get people into a community, when they're invested in us, then, our marketing is like 40 to 50% taken care of. Do you know that? Yeah? So we've got this community of people. This is the way I love the way my business works. My friend David's here today. David's a client of mine. He came into my business because somebody else told him to. I didn't know David before that. Someone else told him to, and he came into my business. I love the way that works, but that's only because we started off with some free stuff. So I was going to show you this. This one, that's me there in 1982. Right, I'm the guy. It was my 10th birthday party, and I'm hoeing into some cocktail frankfurts there. But this is where I learned, this is where I learned how to sell the way that most people sell today. Because most of us, selling is just a transaction, right? It's a transaction of time, money, favors, one thing for another on an equal basis, right? So we're all pretty well indoctrinated into this sales mentality of what things are worth. Am I right? I can't, because this is where excuses come from, by the way. I can't do that because I don't have enough time, or it's going to cost too much, or I don't have enough people to do it, right? So what's his name, the action coach guy? Brad Sugars teaches the three biggest frustrations in any business, the three biggest things that we come up against are time, team, and money. I agree. You see, back then is when we all learned that we exchange one thing for another. See, I had overbearing, over-controlling parents. This is where I do my therapy sessions, by the way, so you're going to feel sorry for me. I had overbearing, over-controlling Irish Catholic parents who would just not let me go anywhere or see anything or do anything, and they would protect me and wrap me up in cotton wool. Has anyone got parents like that? Good, I'm not the only freak in the room. Let's join a group together and sing Kumbaya. So back then, I wanted to have this 10th birthday party, and I wanted Catherine Suddy and Haley, I can't remember, her name's Haley Garrett now, I can't remember what her maiden name was. I wanted Catherine, I wanted girls at my birthday party, right? Because look at me. I was pretty cool. And so I had to do a whole heap of wheeling and dealing with Mum. I had to cut some deals. I had to, manipulate my dad against my mum. I had to push them one way and do things another. And then, generationally, as I grew up and I went into business, my first job was in a restaurant, and then I worked for Just Jeans for years, then I became a hairdresser, and I did a whole bunch of other stuff in between. That thing there stayed with me. Why? Because that's where we develop our patterns for adulthood. So between the ages of 0 to 7 is what's called the imprint period, right? You guys all know this. You've read books. Between the ages of 0 to 7 is the imprint period, and between the ages of 10 and 14 is where we act that out. It's where we test it and try it and see what works. Well, it worked for me, and it probably worked for a lot of us as well. And in fact, most of what we learn in business is how do we price things right, and how do we make it affordable for our clients, and how do we, these sort of structures I'm talking about. But then you've only got to walk down the main street to see that oftentimes doesn't work. Because what do we see? Big red squares with white writing on it on a lot of shop fronts. What's the word I'm looking at? Sale. And if I look for these things because oftentimes that's where I can help people. So I look for the word sale because it's the first sign of trouble for me in business. A discount is just an apology for not giving good enough service. And a sale is a flag that says we're in some trouble, oftentimes. So this sale mentality, what comes after that? It's almost like giving away stuff for free after that, isn't it? But we don't start business that way. We start business with all of the best intentions. We start business off saying, hey, I'm going to change the world. I've got this kick-ass business idea. Mum, Dad, listen to what I'm going to do. You tell all your best friends and everyone buys in and says, man, you're going to make it. I'm so jealous of you. You're going to be fantastic. And you've got all these ideas of freedom and driving around in the shiny red Ferrari. Or is that just me? No, you guys have got, right. So when we start off in business, but then can anyone relate sometimes things get hard? Yeah, and sometimes things get tough, right? Has anyone been at the stage where you've got into sale mode and you've had to, no one yet, good, and I hope you never ever do, but you've seen it happen, right? And then 3 months later, just about, that business is going to be gone, right? So you can look at that going, wow, there's a good spot for a pop-up shop for me. But why don't we just flip that? Instead of waiting until times are hard to give away your best stuff for free, why don't we just do it at the very, very beginning? Does anyone ever go to their local supermarket, like Woolworths or Coles or anything like that? You know, on a Saturday, sometimes how you can walk in and you go, paella, or sausage, or something's cooking, right? You guys do that up here? It's not just in Tassie? Don't have a 3 o'clock moment on me, guys. Seriously, because being up here is so different to sitting here. Because when you're sitting here, you're going, oh, there's the guy and he's entertaining me. Man, it's really good. You guys have got supermarkets where they cook stuff, right? Yeah. Right. And Costco, right? We don't have Costco. In fact, we've got very little in Tasmania. We don't even have Aldi. I saw an Aldi across the street and I got all excited. I took a photo. I sent it home. I tagged all my friends. Here's what we don't have. We have Bunnings. Anyway. What's that? And we've got nice wineries. So, even at the wineries, you know, you go to a winery, what do you want? You want to taste. Would you buy a $100 bottle of wine without tasting it? No. Yet, oftentimes, I only saw 3 hands up before when I said who gives away free stuff, their best stuff for free. That's what they're doing. Try it, like it, buy it. Because most people's buying strategies is try it, like it, buy it. Sometimes people's buying strategies are a bit like mine, which is see it, buy it, or see it, like it, go home, talk to my wife about it, justify it. Like, I just bought a new motorcycle. It's a W800. It's a black edition. There's only 500 of these things made. It's killer. I saw it. I put a deposit on it straight away. I went home and said to my wife, I think I might sell my other motorbike. She's like, why? But you love it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I'll keep it. And then I bought it. I eventually bought it and I didn't tell her. And then I showed her a picture of it in a magazine. And then I tried to get her to tell me it was a good idea to buy it. And then I took my kids. This is where it gets really ugly. I took my kids to the bike shop. And I'm like, hey, do you guys like it? They're like, Dad, you should buy it. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should. Why don't you guys go home and tell Mum how cool it was? And so I picked it up 2 days ago. It's so nice. It's not going to be raining when I get home, so I can ride it. But you see, the thing is, even that, I said to Adam, who's the guy who sold me the bike, I said, can I have a test ride of the motorbike? And he said initially, no. I said, well, what's the deal? He goes, we don't have a demo of this particular bike because it's a rare bike. We don't have a demo. I said, well, look, if I ride it and I like it, I'm going to buy it. And here's how he looked at me. It was a foreign concept to this guy. So we need to be able to give away our best stuff for free. You guys sort of thinking about, God, I don't know, what can I give away for free? Is anyone thinking, what can I give away? No, we'll get there. We will absolutely get there. Here's what I want to talk to you, and a lot of us talk about the same sort of things. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into abundance and desperation. And I'm going to talk about now why people buy, why we don't sell the right way, and how these problems occur. I just want to get a little bit into the psychology of it, because I don't want to just come here and say, oh, you guys should give away your best stuff for free. Thank you very much. I was a wanker before I got here. I'm a wanker now. I'll be a wanker when I leave. I don't want that to happen. I want you to understand that this works. I want to show you that through this strategy, there's a fitness franchise that I work with that Steve mentioned before called Step Into Life Fitness. You guys know Step Into Life? I don't know if you do or not. You do? Cool. So, they came to me with the same sort of, with a sales problem. And I said, well, what are we giving away for free? And we looked through all their stuff, and now they give away lesson plans for free, right? So you can, if you're interested, if you go into their funnel and you inquire, you get lesson plans and all that sort of stuff. But before that, they would have been like this. You can't have my stuff. You can't have my stuff because it's so closely guarded. But you know what? Write this down. You can't sell a secret. If you've got something good, you should be standing on the tallest part of the tallest building and go, come and get this. It's amazing. It's incredible. Let me show you exactly What's inside my business if you spend $1 or more with me? You should be able to show people right inside of it. Do you know if you give away, I give away every single last piece of content that I teach in my high-level programs for free. Ooh, 10,000 steps. I give away, everyone else got a Fitbit, they're the best. I give away every single last piece of content. I give it away in my newsletters. I give it away in my free program. I give it away in my 8-week free program. I give it away in every single part of the business. And then when the clients get into it, they get, what do they get at the end as the prize? Me, I'm the prize at the end. You're the prize at the end. You've got to write that down. Write down, I am the prize at the end. In fact, turn to the person next to you and say, you are the prize at the end. Now turn to the other person who is your second choice and say, you are the prize at the end. Will's over here talking to himself. Will, why don't you join some people at a table, man? Someone tell Will, come over here. Right, everyone loves you. Will's awesome, by the way. I spoke to him. I came in here this morning. I was the sweaty guy in the high-vis, and I went for a run this morning, and Will was the person out the front. And I've gone, g'day, mate. How you going? I'm Grant. I thought Will was part of Steve's team because it's my first time I met Steve. And Will told me a little bit about his business. If you haven't heard about his business yet, nail him at the end because he is absolutely incredible. One of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. I'm insanely jealous. Anyway, yeah, everybody get him in a corner and talk to him. So, abundance and desperation, you can guess they're polar opposites of each other. Abundance is where you say, I have everything that you want and you just don't know it yet. Abundance is where I teach the rule, be you, get paid. Be you, get paid. Because you know what? It's really, really, really tempting to be a carbon copy of something that you're not. Really tempting. Don't be a second-rate version of someone else's business. This is why I don't wear a suit. Used to. Felt like a wanker. Felt like somebody who was faking it. Felt like somebody who was up here being like the guy who trained me. You guys wear suits, you're awesome. You guys wear suits, you're awesome. I'm talking about me. In fact, I said to Steve when I walked in here, do I need to wear a jacket today? He's like, no, man, just be you. I'm like, yeah, cool. Because, does anyone know what it feels like to be inauthentic? It hurts. It sucks. It's bad. Don't do that. Giving away your best stuff for free means you've got to have this massive authenticity about you. I was trained by a guy called Joe Pane. Good guy. And when he trained me, he used to talk like this. So when I went to do a lot of public speaking, I found myself oftentimes talking a little bit like a Joe Pane. And it took me years and years. It took a friend of mine to smack me and he goes, dude, why are you impersonating Joe Pane when you speak? You don't talk like that. Because I was in desperation, because I was thinking the only way that people would love me is if I talk like somebody that I had evidence that somebody already loved. And we model ourselves on businesses oftentimes that are in desperation and not abundance. If you're going to model yourself on something, you've got to model yourself on a business that's in total abundance. And businesses that are in total abundance are giving away their best stuff for free, like an app. I'm not saying go ahead now and develop an app. No. That would be crazy for most of you. Don't do that. But think of your business and go, righto, what's something that I could give? And in this template that I've got here, it says, and you can just start to take notes. I want to sell blah. Now, I don't mind what it is. For me, I want to sell coaching, right? Simple. I've got two rules in my business for me. Turn up, coach. That's it. I want to sell coaching. And I want to sell it too. And we're going to talk about avatars, and we're going to talk about all that in a minute. And we're going to talk about what their biggest problem is, and we're going to talk about how you solve it. And by the end of this, I want you guys to use that template and develop something and give it away to your list, because I heard you guys talking about databases before with Sai. And that means that once you go into your database and into Entreport and into whatever you're using, I use ActiveCampaign, it's killer. Once you go into that, you can go out in complete abundance and start to give away your best stuff for free. Is this useful? Cool. Let me tell you a little bit about why they buy. I have got a peppermint tea here. Let me have a sip of this. delicious. Desperation, by the way, if you want to quote me on anything, you can quote me on this. Desperation is ugly. Desperation is ugly. It's the darkness. You've got to shine light into the darkness. Abundance is light. Desperation is ugly. Desperation steals, kills, and destroys, but the light shines abundantly. And when you shine the light into an area where everybody can see it and nothing is hidden, then you feel really good. You feel really light, and people start to look at your business, and people start to be drawn in, and they become magnetized towards what you have, which is pretty cool. You guys wouldn't want that, would you?
Oh, yeah, one or two of you, mate.
What do I listen out for? It's like being in Hobart. Do you know the biggest problem in Hobart is a thing called she'll be right? She'll be right, cobber in Tassie. If ever you go to Tassie, she'll be right, cobber. Or cock. They say cock a lot. I nearly got in my first fist fight as an adult because of that. Someone said, how's it going, cock? And we didn't use that term. We didn't use that term unless it was followed by the word head in Melbourne. So, I'm going to talk to you about pleasure and pain. What are we motivated by? Pleasure or pain? No. Pain. Pain. Let me show you. Let me give you the example. Let's pretend this room is made of glass. Everyone with me? It's made of glass. And through there, we can see a table. And there's a door there that we can get through. But there's a door over there we can get through as well. And there's a table, and that table is stacked with $100 notes. Stacks of them. There must be $30, $40, $50,000, $60,000 in there, right? Everyone excited? Now that room is on fire. It's intensely burning. If you go in through that door to get any of that money, you will be burned so badly that you will need massive skin grafts. You may even lose a hand. You won't be the same. You'll be disfigured. You'll be ugly. But you can get out safely through that door. Show of hands who'd go for the money? Show of hands who'd go for the door? Of course, right. What if your child was in there instead? You go straight in. I nearly cry when I say that. I got 2 kids and I think about it. Oh, do that thing? Right. Why do women do that? It's so ineffective. It does nothing. Oh, it's never hit me like that before. I just thought of my 2 kids and I went, oh my gosh. Should have practiced that one a bit more, Grant. Okay. But the thing is, the pain of losing those children would be far greater than the pain of any physical injury. But the pleasure of that money would not outweigh the pain. So we're motivated by what? Pain or pleasure? Pain, but we're motivated away from pain towards pleasure. We're motivated away from pain towards something that's even greater than pleasure. Anyone know what it is? Safety. We're motivated away from pain and towards safety. So what do your clients actually want? Safety, security. It's hard to earn trust. You know, I was trained by a guy in sales. His name's Corey. And he goes, mate, he's Lebanese. No offense to anyone who's Lebanese here today. He goes, mate, listen, it's all about rapport, mate. Everything is about rapport. You just build rapport, mate, and you'll be fine. That's exactly how he talked, right? Fully, right? He went to the doctors once because he was fully sick, bro. So he was wrong. Plain and simple, he was wrong. It's not about rapport. Assume rapport. Build trust. Just assume rapport. Screw if people like you. I like all you guys, but I really don't care if you like me. I don't. Because I'm not here to make friends today. I'm here to deliver amazing, incredible, life-changing content. I'm not here to be liked. And you're not in business to be liked. If you're in business to be liked, go back to your business, put a padlock on your door and walk away. Forget it. Go do juggling in a circus or something because you'll be liked then. But if you're in business to be liked, don't worry about it. You won't always be. People will like you eventually, but you're in business because if people trust you and people can trust you to deliver something that's of incredibly high value to them, then you're going to be winning, right? So everyone's clear that we're motivated away from pain and towards pleasure. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything there. No, I haven't. Even 1% pain, if people feel like there's going to be 1% pain, they'll run a country mile. I don't know if that's further than a city mile, but they'll run. All right, if people feel pain or a sniff of mistrust, they'll just run. So you've got to be able to give those things up front. It's like the supermarket or the winery. If somebody said, hey, would you like to buy this $150 bottle of wine? It's really good. No, you look nice. Would you like some wine? Hey, you look really great. I tell you what have we got in common? Let's find some common ground. Would you like to buy some wine? That's what happens in business sometimes because we forget to be giving away our best stuff for free. We're forgetting about our freemium. Because people are tuned into these two channels. So what and what's in it for me? That's what people are walking around all the time. We've got two filters. You have, we all have. We're walking around all the time. We're tuned into these two radio stations. So what and what's in it for me? We see a product and we go, so what? We see something else and we go, what's in it for me? All the time we're tuned into these two things. But you know what? If you were to give something to somebody that was of massively high value and you knew that it solved their biggest problem because you knew who you were to begin with, then you knew who they were and you knew what their biggest problem was. You guys have talked about avatar creation in this program, am I right? Yeah, great. So is everyone clear on who their avatar is, who their ideal avatar is? Show me your hands if you are. Okay, about 60% of the room. Get really super clear on your avatar. Then, who of those people, who interviews their avatars? Wow. You've got to get busy interviewing your avatars. It can't be made up. An avatar is an ideal client, a picture of an ideal client. So it would be like a 37 to 40-year-old female who lives in XYZ, who's married with 2 kids with this much income, that drinks black coffee on a Wednesday and goes walking her dogs with her friends and has this kind of business that sells XYZ and so on. A really clear picture. Why do we need to know that? So that we'll know what their pain is. Why do we need to know what their pain is? So we know what they're tuned into. Why do we want to know what they're tuned into? So that we can give them the solution to that. Why do we want to give them the solution to that? Because we are the authority. We're the experts on it, and we can put it in their hands. Once we've solved people's biggest problem for free, what do you think they're going to want? More. Give me more. Let me show you. I think I've got this. If I've got this on the next page, all right, I'm going to show you 6 quick rules, and then I'm going to talk to you about why you should all be drug dealers. All right? There's 6 quick rules in business. You've got to be the first, best, only. You've got to be marketable, replicable, and accessible. If you're not the first, like, give a shout out of business at me. Skin clinic, right? You're not the first skin clinic in the world. I hate to break it to you. There are other skin clinics out there, right? You know this. But you've got to be the first skin clinic to do something absolutely specific for somebody. So you guys have talked about niching your businesses down, right? I say a niche should be an inch wide and a mile deep in the old scale. I don't know what that is in the new scale, but it sounds much better if you say an inch wide and a mile deep. For somebody, a centimetre wide and a kilometre deep. That's what's going to make you the first. So you're like the skin clinic that solves the biggest problem that is XYZ for these people. Then you're going to be able to give away the secret to that for free. But guess what? They probably can't fix it themselves. They probably can't fix it themselves, so they're going to have to come to you to fix that, right? Because you're the expert and the authority. But you're giving them how to do it and why they should do it, and you're solving their biggest problem. Because before this, they might be walking around just thinking, hey, I've got this problem, and I don't even know what to do about it. Because, you see, people are walking around, their skin bags full of emotion, walking around in a coma. Oftentimes, can I borrow your phone? This is how people walk around. Don't they? You know what I did this morning? I went for a run and a walk and all that sort of stuff. And I'm intentionally, to everyone I went, g'day, good morning, good morning, good morning. And one guy, he goes, hey, mate. We're the only 2 people in the street. Morning. Hey, mate. No, you dickhead. Yes. He's like, why? I thought it was just Tassie that had a mental health problem. I did the same with another. There was an old lady. She was sitting there getting sun on herself. Good morning.
Good morning.
See, people don't connect. But if we connect we meet people where they're at, be the first. Be the first person to do this. Meet people where they're at. Be the best at it. Now, everybody can say, hand on heart, hi, I'm the best hairdresser and I'm the best this, I'm the best of that, I'm the best restaurant, best personal trainer, best of this, best of that. Everyone wants to put their hand on their heart and say that. But you know what? You've got to be able to show that you're the best for them. Because if it's about you, no one gives a crap. No one cares about you. Period. Nobody cares about you. But everybody cares about themselves. Everybody cares about themselves, and everybody wants their stuff fixed. Imagine what it's like. Imagine all the marketing headaches you can solve. Imagine all the time and money and investment in advertising that you can put back into other things if you just created something for your ideal client that you could give to them that's going to solve their biggest problem for free. And imagine if it worked. Because I assume it would, because you guys are all amazing rock stars, and of course it's going to work. Am I right? Yeah. What percentage of businesses do you reckon do this? It's actually less than 1. Less than 1% of all businesses in Australia give away their best stuff for free. Do you know why? Because she'll be right, copper. That's what they're all doing. She'll be right. Don't need it. People are coming in. I'm all right. You know, one of the biggest cancers in business, I think, is comfort. Now I'm making enough to pay the mortgage, and the missus got a new set of Ugg boots. Go to Queensland twice a year. She'll be right. So I say, one of my rules in business is be a part of something that's much bigger than you. Be a part of something that's way bigger than you. For us, it's Compassion Australia. We sponsor kids overseas. At the moment, we've got 6 sponsored kids, and we have a target for, get this, 24. We want to have 24 sponsored kids, and that's just that's our minimum we want to get. I'll cry again in a minute. We got these 6 sponsored kids, and when I first started my business, I said, right, we want to be part of something that's bigger than us. So we're going to go out, and we're going to solve all these people's problems, and we're going to do it for free. And then all of a sudden, I was the trusted authority on this. I can't tell you it works because I flew in here. You know, when Steve rang me, I thought he was taking the piss. I seriously did. He goes, come up to Sydney. I'm like, dude, you know I'm in Hobart, right? He's like, yeah, come up to Sydney and talk to my group of friends. Tell them what you know. I'm like, yeah, okay, but it's only this. And he goes, yeah, that's great. Tell them that. This works. You know, nobody trusts anybody in Hobart. Hobart is a horrible market to break into. Because they all stand there like this. Are you a mainlander? It's true. And I am. So I have to go, no. I've been living here for 13 years and my kids go to Dominic College and I have to give them my full Hobart resume, tell them my address, show them my scar. You got to be marketable. You got to be marketable. You know, when I was with L'Oreal, I used to go to hairdressing salons. I had 335 hairdressing salons I looked after in Tasmania. And I would go in and I go, so what have you guys been doing with your marketing? Oh, we did a newspaper ad. So it's terrific. What did it say in the, we put a photo of the whole team in there. That's great. Let's see it. And there it was, Sweaty Betty's. Had a photo of the whole team. You guys get that joke. Photo of the whole team. Could have been curl up and die. Photo of the whole team. It had cuts, trims, blow waves, phone number. You guys have seen the ads before, right? It's not marketing. It's not. That's just the same as anywhere else. There's no compelling reason why anybody should go there. There was no promise. There was nothing. But if it had said, sweatybetties.com, download our 5 tips for regrowing bald patches on the back of your head if you're a 45-year-old woman who lives in this suburb. Then their funnel in their marketing system would have started to fill up, and they could have automated a whole bunch of newsletters and automated a whole bunch of stuff that went out that told them hair care and tips and all that sort of stuff, which is replicating. Because who gets sick of having the same conversation over and over and over? Yeah. So to create this thing, to create this freemium, it's do one thing once and replicate. Just do one thing once and replicate. I'm going to say it again. Do one thing once and replicate. Think about what your number one biggest thing is, your number one most valuable thing, the best tool that you've got. Mine is I teach people how to systemize, scale, and sell. I teach them how to systemize first. I've got 3 parts on that. I teach them how to scale. I've got 3 parts on that. I teach them how to sell. I've got 3 parts on that. And I give it all away for free. But I give it away with all of the what and a little bit of how. All of the what, a ton of why, a little bit of how. A little bit. And they come to me and they go, I want more how. And here's how we're going to skip this. I'm going to go to this one here. Be a drug dealer. Why be a drug dealer? Drugs are bad, okay? Nobody should do drugs. If anyone here is doing drugs, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. I'm not saying do drugs, but be like a drug dealer. Where do drug dealers hang out? Where? Schools? Where? Albuquerque. Oh, Breaking Bad. I don't watch TV, so I'm sorry. Albuquerque. Reminds me of Bugs Bunny. Poor suburbs. Mount Druitt. Alleyways, clubs. Why? Yeah, it is, but it's more than that. It's where the pain is carried by the people. So rule number 1 is go to where your clients are at. If you're one of these businesses ever, and I trust you're not, if you're ever one of these businesses that comes in every morning and goes, well, I'm off to work, away we go, I'm opening up the door, I'm putting around the open and close sign, I'm going to put the kettle on, put the money in the cash register, and wait. That's if you're a retail business. It might be an online business. You might be looking, you put up a Facebook post and you, oh, got a like, oh, someone shared it, oh. You got to go to where they're at, right? So this is why it's so important. Drug dealers have got it right. They know exactly who their clients are, and they go to where they're at. I despise them, but they have a good model. So they go to where they're at, and they find some person who's hurting, and they say to that person that's hurting, hey, you hurting? Just play with me. You hurting? Yeah. Want to stop hurting? Yeah. Want a little bit of drugs? Sure. And they give him, you just accepted drugs. They give him a little bit of drugs for free. And it fixes their biggest problem. So they go away and they do whatever people do with drugs. I don't know. I've never done them. I was young. I was at art school. Forgive me. I won't cry about that one. Can't remember it. Whole of 1991 gone. Anyway, what's that person going to do? They're going to come back and say, hey, can I have some more drugs? And they're going to say, sure, I'd love to give you a little bit more drugs, but I just need you to do a little favor for me. I need you to do something small. I need you to do something for a little bit of pain, just a little bit of pain. Just a little bit. In business, we think for $1. Just need to do something. All you need to do is just deliver this briefcase across the street. Hi. For Instagram. Deliver this briefcase across the street, and then I'll give you a little bit more drugs. Just the same as I gave you before. Will you go do that thing for me? Of course, right? So if they go a little bit of drugs, and they're happy, and they get rid of their pain. Then what happens? Want more drugs? Oh, you do? Okay. It's going to cost you. And they go, what are they going to say? But I can't pay. I can't afford it. And they say, well, that's not my problem. You find a way to get that money. And that's a pretty nefarious way of doing it. But in our businesses, we can replicate that model and change it for good. We could say to people, hey, would you like a little bit of this thing that's going to solve your biggest problem for free? And it's going to be so super useful and so super good for them that they're going to get massive value out of it. And they're going to go home and they're going to use it. I mean, they're going to use it. They're going to do whatever they can with the thing you've given them for free. They're going to come back to you and say, hey, I really, really liked that. It was awesome. Can I have some more? And you go, absolutely. I've just got this small program or this small booklet, or this small sheet or this book or this form or this program or this speaking thing or this thing that I want you to turn up to. And it's only like $37 or $47 because everyone in marketing puts sevens on the end of everything because it's cool, right? So I'm going to get you to turn up for this small price. And by the way, bring 3 of your friends and here's a free ticket as well. So just come along. And they do. And they get more value and they get more of their problems solved. And then what happens at the end of that, VIP members? You sign up. You sign up. But you see, what happens in business is we've often got it all wrong. We want people to come in, and it's like Simon said before, I use a similar dating analogy, but Simon put it a lot more eloquently. But for me, it's like trying to on the first date. You don't walk into a pub and see a pretty girl, and this is for guys, this is advice for you guys, right? You don't walk in, I've been married for 27 years, I am way out of the dating game. You don't walk into a pub and go, hi, how you doing? I have a really comfortable bed. Why don't you just come with me? You got to take the steps. Just play the business like the dating game. And in dating, we totally give away our best stuff for free. Right? We totally give away our best of ourselves for free if we're genuine, authentic people. If we're not genuine, authentic people, then we're lying scumbags and we don't deserve to be in a relationship. But we have to know who we are. We go out and we find the person that we want and we give away something for free. Is this useful so far? You guys all still with me? I'm not losing anyone? Cool. Here's why. I'm going to draw it up. I'm wearing really, 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 really tight jeans. And sometimes it's a little tricky getting up and down. These jeans, by the way, are really, really good for Tassie weather, but not really great for Sydney weather. Okay. You guys can draw this if you want or not. It's up to you. Here, this is where you go with the free stuff. And this is for everyone, everywhere, all over the place. This is for the universal quantifier. Everywhere, everyone, everything. Everyone can access your free stuff. It's out there. It's public. It's there's 4 levels. There's all the people that might just look at you, that might just have a sideways glance, and anyone can pick up your free stuff. And this is how they get to know you. It's how they get to know what's in your program. And you know what else that gives? That gives them proof. Sorry to write sideways, I just got to fit it all in. This gives them proof of who you are. This is that evidence that people are seeking. But you know what normally happens? Not for you guys, because you guys are awesome and amazing. But normally people have got to spend money to find out who you are. We've got to do it the other way around. We've got to flip it all around. They've got to be able to know exactly who you are and what you offer before they spend $1. This is just so they can see value. Because if your phone's ringing and people are coming to you and you don't have to be calling them, isn't that a better way to do business? Do you guys want that? Yeah. I don't know if you guys are asleep. I can't see anything out there. I'll listen out for yeses. All right, so the next level after this is the access, right? Now notice that the funnel starts to get smaller Because people are going to see your stuff and they're going to go, I don't like it. It's not for me. I don't like frozen yogurt. It's not for me. I like vanilla yogurt. I like vanilla ice cream. I don't like frozen yogurt. I tried their frozen yogurt, but I don't want it. It's okay for people to say no. No is like one of the best words that you can ever hear in business. It removes that desperation feeling. If people are saying no, then you've got a percentage of people who are saying yes. You guys have probably heard this before. I don't know who said it, but someone way more famous than me said every no gets you closer to a yes. You guys have heard that before? You've got to give them something to say no to. Otherwise, they're going to be saying no to you. And if they say no to you, then that can be hurtful. That can be painful, and we want to avoid that pain. If they're saying no to you, then you haven't given them enough of a buffer in between. So this is where your freemium product, where your best stuff that you can give away for free needs to come in. Then after they've used this, and it has to be useful in their lives. If you can just be useful in people's lives, then they're going to go to the next step with you, and they're going to want to access you. Now this access, it can be for like $1 or something that's in your client avatar that you know where their spend level should be sitting. And it's just going to be a no-brainer for them to go to the next level. Very, very, very little pain. Once they've established a high level of trust with you, the next step is very little pain. This one here is where most businesses have most of their products positioned right now. This is the mainstream of products. This is where most things are sitting. But most people start there. This is where you're like, what's a haircut cost? $55, right? So your access point would be like a $5 access point. So here's how it would work for a hairdressing salon, I would think. You would say, here's my freemium. My freemium is, there's 3 distinct different kinds of scalps. Let's identify which one's yours and how to get the best out of it. And then next month, I'm going to show you the 3 different ways for you to blow wave your hair so that you can get body, volume, and shine all together without having to use expensive products, right? Even though you want to sell products, and product sales are important. And then the next month you would say, here are the 3 things that you need to know to keep your hair looking great so that you only need to style it twice a week. Yep. And they start to use this, and they're using it, and it's great, and they're getting good results. And then the next step is you say, what we'd like to do is we'd like to bring you into the salon. And we're just going to do, we're going to teach you how to blow wave your hair, and it's going to be in a workshop evening. It's like $5. It's just $5 blow wave workshop. You've just done it. Sweet, because that's so cool. And you might be wanting to sell some GHDs or something like that, right? So you do a GHD workshop, you get your GHD rep in, and they come and they do the thing. It's like $5. Or if you bring a friend, it's free. Exactly. But if you don't bring a friend, it's $5. And by the way, we're going to give you a cup of tea, some cake, which is about the value of, or greater than the value of your $5 anyway. So they're getting mind-blowing value. Then they're going to come into you and they're going to buy some GHDs. They're going to buy some shampoo, conditioner, mousse, book in, become a client for life, have a color, cut. No one perms anymore, but thank God. But you know, they're going to do all of those things just because of the freemium, which was of high value to them. Is anyone stuck on what their freemium could be? What sort of... Tight jeans. What's your business? Oh, nanny agency. Come on, this is absolutely awesome, right? So, this is the best thing ever. How to tell who the right nanny is. So you, in your free end of your funnel, which is absolutely everybody everywhere, all parents everywhere, you go, from time to time, you're going to want to go out and enjoy your life, and you just don't know who to trust. So we're going to show you the 10 things that you need to know about choosing the right nanny. And guess what they're all going to be? They're all going to be what you guys are and what you guys do, so that you're the only ones that will fit into that category. Then, you say, for $1, we're going to send you an interview sheet so you can interview your nanny. or you can give that out as your free line as well, or whatever your next level is, right? So you can even if that's your free level now, you can flip that tomorrow. You guys are the decision makers because it's all in your Necktop computer, right? So for $1, we're going to give you access to our interview sheet. That's our in-house interview sheet that we use to choose our staff. We're going to give you access to our biggest secrets for $1, and they have the sheet, and they interview 100 people that don't fit the criteria because 3 of the criteria are only what you guys do. So when eventually they're so frustrated, they're going to pick up the phone and go, "Can you help us? We can't find anyone. Freemium." Not on Facebook. By the way, with Facebook, while I think of it, I wrote a note before. If you've got hundreds and hundreds of Facebook likes and you think that's cool and you're not turning them into clients, then your Facebook likes and shares and everything, they're not worth very much. You can have a snow globe. There you go. Thanks for playing. Who else has was that useful, by the way? Yeah, cool. Who else has got one that they're stuck on their freemium, not knowing what to give away for free? The camera. Yep. Graphic designer. What sort of things do you like to design? Annual reports. Great. So graphic designer likes to do annual reports, right? So here is the who would be reading these annual reports? Stakeholders, right? Here's the 5 reasons why your stakeholders don't engage with your current annual reports and why, and what to do about it. Yeah, and you show them what it should look like. Then you can give them 3 free templates and 5 paid templates that they can choose from, and the 5 paid templates are $1 or $7, or they can buy the whole package for $25 that they can kind of tweak and kind of use, but they're still going to be just that little bit frustrated with it because it never looks as good as the end result that you do. And then they're going to get so frustrated with it that they're going to ring you up and they're going to go, what are they going to say? Can you help us? Can you help us? Because that's so much better when people ring you up and say, can you help us, than if you're ringing people up and saying, can you help me? Can you feed my family? Can you put money on my table, right? It removes desperation and increases abundance. Is this useful? Who else got one? Let's do one more. Cool. What's your business? Paintball. I was thinking about you before. That's ace, right? Because we just had paintball legalized in Tasmania, which is killer. I love it. We should talk because there's so much bush and so many places. It's just ace. I want to do a thing called the corporate commandos and do like corporate... Anyway, I'm digressing. So I get excited. So paintball's killer. What do people want to do in paintball? They want to...
Shoot people.
Come on, absolutely they want to shoot people. What do they want to do at the end? They want to look at the scorecard and say, I have won. I've won. I've killed everybody. I'm the winner, and everyone else can suck eggs, right? So you give what's the best gun to use?
We already have the best gun.
Yeah, just tell me what it is.
Semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic, right? So and the best way to use them is...
To shoot them. The hold them.
Yeah, so you hold it a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. What's the best way that I can every single time hit my target?
Shoot multiple.
Great. So you give people, you're going to be able to, it could be a video, it could be an instructional sheet, it could be a step-by-step guide with 5 panels in it. Here's how you can win at paintball absolutely every single time, right? But there's got to be something in that that's only available through you. Right, so you've got to use these guns this way at our facilities, which are set up and designed exactly for, and you know what? If you follow these steps, you're going to win every single time. And then the next level up is you can bring everybody in to practice what's on that sheet for like $1 to $12. Right, so what does it cost for a round of paintball?
Minimum $75.
Minimum $75, right? So for $17 or $10 or around there, $7 to $17. They can come in, whole group of them, and they can, next level, access you and access your team, but one to many, not one to one, one to many, right? Then, what do you think they're going to do, drug dealer? They're going to be hooked on you. Is this useful? Are you guys getting this? This is why the free line is just so important. And by the way, you've got to be, oh, hang on, have I got a snow globe left? I do. You got my last one. If anyone's never been to Tasmania, Tasmanian devils are like the freakiest little things ever. And they don't run around on your front lawn like you think they would. But they're if you want to see a Tasmanian devil, you just look at the side of the road in Tasmania because there's just heaps of them. I know. Yeah, but I'm not going to cry about that one. because there's enough of them to go around. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, we're going to put some music on real quick. So we're going to spend like 2 or 3 minutes. I want you to write down your freemiums, and then I'm going to get a couple of you to tell me what your freemiums are going to be. And if anyone's still stuck, I'm going to help you out. And because at the pointy end of this, by the way, this is where the big dollars are. And the prize at the end is who? You. Right, so that's where the prize at the end comes. So chuck on some music, and we'll, just a couple of minutes, work out your freemium. Because what I want to do just now is I'm going to show you how to convert, guys. I'm going to give you the sales conversion formula for this, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do the conversion conversation after they come to you. So this is all well and good, but when they come to you and they go, "Hi, I want your help," and you go, "But," and that's no good, right? We're not turning that into dollars. So does everyone want to turn this into dollars right now? Cool. So from the 4 or 5 conversations that I had just here, always start with what their biggest problem is, because everyone I spoke to just then, they said, yeah, oh, this is the kind of client that I said, cool, what's their biggest problem? That's just a question you ask yourself. What's their biggest problem? How can I solve it? And each and every single one of us, we came up with a solution right on the spot. So we had my friend here is a travel agent, Sharon. She's a travel agent. She said, all these people coming from. I said, what's their biggest problem? And the biggest problem was they were overwhelmed with choice. There was too much choice. Right, so I said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get some, what did we say we're going to do? We're going to get we're going to, before the webinars, we're going to get people, we're going to show them some trusted local knowledge. We're going to show them some trusted local testimony. And then after that, we're going to invite people by category to webinars where we can have a discussion and build community and get more evidence. And once that's happened, she's a trusted authority. We had the paintball conversation, which was absolutely cool. I loved that one. Teach him how to win paintball, right? But the thing is, whatever you're showing them, it's got to have in it what you do that's unique to you. Why did I talk to you at the very beginning about be you, get paid? It wasn't because I like to hear my gums flap. It's because you've got to know who you are. Right. So let's talk about the conversion conversation, and then I'm going to finish up. And I've lost my clicker, and I don't know where it is. Is there a clicker on? Oh, no, it's up here. Oh, those jeans. Seriously, Grant, you got to rethink your wardrobe, dude. Okay. Best question you can ask in sales. You don't ask it like this. But the best question has the theme of what do you want? This can only be asked if they've already experienced all of your stuff. So it goes like this. Hey, something's happened that prompted this call today. You're calling me for a reason. What's going on? And they're going to say, well, I've been getting all your stuff. And it's really, really good. I love it. And I've watched all your videos. And I've been to your webinar twice. And I've listened to the recording and I love it. And as Simone said before, people hang around and they interact with you. She said 8 times, I think it was. My data says it's 64 times people see you, 64 times before they decide to come to you. I don't know what's true. I don't know what the number is, but let's just say it's more than once. Let's say it's somewhere between 3 and 70. But if you're not giving them something to interact with, they're not going to be coming to you. Then you go, okay, so you've come to me today. I'm just kind of curious, why have you chosen me? You guys have got to be writing this down because this is absolute gold. If you guys want this, I'll send it to Steve. I'll send him a script. But if you can write really fast, that's even better because you can start working on it tonight when people call you. Imagine you make money tonight. I want you guys, I'm going to be here tomorrow morning. I want you to tell me how many sales you made between now and tomorrow morning. Ha! When you've had some wines after dinner, coming up and I wanted to try this script. No, don't do that. So you go, something prompted this phone call today. Thank you so much for calling me. I'm kind of curious. Why me? Why me? Why is now a good time for this? And why is this something you're looking for? Guess what happens? They start talking and they go, here's why I want you. Here's why I think you're good. Here's why I think you're amazing. What sort of sales will you have to be doing if they're saying all of that? Roy Orbison, Big O, nothing, nada, zip, zilch. They're doing all of the convincing for you. All of the desperation is sucked out of it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to listen because you've already delivered this immense amount of value up front. Then you say in the middle bit, you go, okay, cool, so you got these big problems still. What have you tried that hasn't worked? What have you tried in the past that hasn't worked? And then you take an absolute bunch of notes. Heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of notes. And the best, my favorite line is, okay, great, what else? What else? What else? It came from when I did a Cert 4 in life coaching many, many years ago. So just rub some lavender into your ears, that sort of life coaching. Everything will be okay. Align your chakras. Finally get to laugh. Okay, what have you tried in the past that hasn't worked? And you make a list. Why? Because this is all your evidence. This is all your evidence here in this bit. So when they say to you at the end, I don't have time, and I don't have the team, and I don't have the money, you go, okay, cool. So are you prepared to continue with all of this stuff that hasn't worked? In here, you're going to gather evidence because people are unconscious in their own lives. This is why I said to you in the beginning, make sure you're present. Make sure you're here. Make sure you're not thinking about all the stuff that you've got to do later and all the stuff you had to do earlier and all of that sort of stuff. Because if you're not present, then you can't do this. You have to be so utterly present. Because they won't be. You have to be the one that's present in the room. That's why I don't drink anymore. It's true. Then you go back to what they want. You make sure it all matches. You make sure it's a match. You make sure it's a fit. You make sure everything that you have, everything they have is a problem, everything they're carrying around, you make sure it's a fit. If it's not a fit, do the right thing and refer them on. Just refer them on to someone else who can help them. You guys all know a bunch of people who can help. If they're really yucky, refer them to your least favorite competitor. That's what I do. It's great. I've got a least favorite competitor in Hobart. They've got a business which is called something blah, blah, blah. And I go, nah, you need to ring Mick. I'm not your guy. Because they're like the kind of people I don't want to hang out with. I only want to hang out with people that are going to give me joy in my life. That's it. I'm too old and cranky to hang out with people that give me the pip. The last question is just the best. When do you want to start? You know, when I get to this phone call, I love it. I love it when my phone rings and it says, and there's a person at the other end who I don't really know. But through my process and through my giving away all my best stuff for free, bringing them into a smaller thing, bring them into the next thing, bring them into the next thing, and they give me a call and they, Grant, I've watched your videos, I've been to your webinar, I love your stuff. In fact, I've watched everything that you've done, and I've been following you for 6 months. Sometimes it feels a little creepy. I've been following you for 6 months, and I haven't liked anything, but they've been sitting in the background, and have seen things 65 times over. And they go, and I've implemented, and I got some really, really cool results. I want in. Then all I've got to do is get the credit card details and plug them into the program. That's it. Easy. Easy. Way easier than the way I used to be doing it, which was going out trying to scramble for people to come into my high-level programs, and they haven't even experienced one thing yet. Has this been cool? You guys had fun? You learned some stuff? Nice. 3 yeses. Anyone want to ask me any questions? If it's about my hair, I'm not going to answer it. Yes, it's blow waved. I use Uppercut Deluxe pomade. Anyone got any questions? Give me a cool question. It's going to be something. Otherwise, I've just covered everything really well and I'm awesome and I'll go home with a massive head. Go ahead.
How do you find a digital product, like a digital free offer, compared to a physical free offer?
How do I find a digital free offer compared to a physical free offer? Can you give me an example, please?
E-book versus printed small form book.
Cool. So like I have books. I have an e-book and a small form book. It just depends on the modality. Right? It depends on where you are. So if my clients are online, I can't hand them a free book. But if they're at a function or something like that, I can have the free book. So I treat the free book as like a credit card, business card. I don't have or make business cards. In fact, if anyone wants a card from me today, I've got a deck of playing cards and a Sharpie. Right? I just write down my hashtag and you can go into my system. Because I don't want people calling me if they haven't gone through the thing. Right? So there's room for both. It just depends on where your ideal client sits. If your ideal clients are online and in the physical world, then do both. Yeah? Does that answer your question? Awesome. Cool. Give this guy a clap. He's awesome. I'm jealous of your beard, man. Have I got time for another question, Steve?
Mate, I'm just enjoying this. You take your time.
Sweet.
Go nuts. There's another one here. Matt Bailey.
Just a quick question around like when you're solving their biggest problem.
Yep.
I've been playing with solving a problem they didn't know they had.
Yep.
What do you think is more effective?
So you mind, like you're mind reading a problem? Is that with respect? Like you're saying, oh yeah, I know my industry really well, and I've heard enough evidence, and
It's an actual problem. Like, so I deal with like mechanical stuff, and I guess I'm like a fairly unique supplier of a certain range of products.
Yep.
I'm really fortunate that for the stuff I supply for, there's really no information available. So these guys are kind of flying by the seat of their pants.
Yep.
So I kind of go, hey, have you heard about X? And they're like, holy shit, what the hell is he even talking about?
Yep.
And I'm like, right, this is what you need.
What does your product solve? What's the problem your product solves?
In the basic sense, it's like how the engine runs really shit, and we fix that at a reasonable cost.
Okay, so it's to do with it's 100 injectors, right? So
Yeah, we're not very creative, huh?
Diesel diagnostic support. So you offer diagnostic support for diesel injected motors. Would that be fair to say?
Bang.
Right, cool. So that's a no-brainer. I used to have a diesel car, and from time to time would run rough, and I wouldn't know why. It was a Ford. Probably that's why it ran rough. So if am I your client, or is it service mechanics?
We're mainly targeting mechanics now.
So 80% mechanics, 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 80-20, or
Well,
is it?
this business is purely mechanics.
So just
Right.
mechanics, right?
Yeah.
So what's the problem that they have that you solve?
They don't know how to do the work, or they're not confident enough to do the work.
Okay, but they don't know that, or are they telling
No,
you that?
they do know that.
They do know that, and do they know that because they're telling you that?
No.
In this case, they're not aware of a situation which could lead to a problem for their customer.
Okay, dude, pick up the phone, talk to a whole bunch of them,
Yeah.
and ask them a whole bunch of questions that lead them into giving you evidence for this problem.
Yeah.
So you need to interview your avatar. I've got a really cool script.
Yeah.
With Steve's permission, I'll pass it on to Steve, and I'll give you guys the script for how to interview your avatars, and it is killer.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And then you can interview like between 5 and 50.
Yeah.
So you get a clear picture on who your avatar is, and common problems will start to pop up. Then solve those problems in your marketing, in your freemium. Then you're going to send it out to say, 80% of the people that we interviewed have said that this is a problem. And what we know is that, and this is why we created 1-800 injectors, because we solve this problem. And we just want to give you some information on what to listen out for and look for, so that your clients won't be pissed off with you.
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Give this guy a clap. He's awesome. Yeah. You know that song, 'Cause I only feel high if I want to go. You look like the dude that sings that. I've been thinking it all day. I don't know what his name is. Anyway, does anyone else have a thing? Anyone else stuck? Anyone else got a good question? Or no? Cool. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for listening.
Awesome. Big round of applause for Grant Mullen, guys. Wow, man, that was awesome. I feel really bad that I put you in that little car now.
It's
I
all
got
right.
Grant a little higher car. I should have got you the medium-sized one.
It's all right.
You're worth it.
I upgraded.
It was so good. Mate, Stella, another round of applause for Grant Mullen. That was so good. I told you we put the funny, good-looking guys at the end.